Go right into the show. Joining me now is former U.S. Ambassador to Israel, Mr. David Friedman. David, welcome back. This is a difficult time. Just tell us, why do you think you were involved in all the negotiations with Israel and the Middle East and the Abraham Accords? Why has this terrible Hamas invasion happened?
Well, there's a few reasons. They're all regrettable and avoidable. I think we got to start with Iran. You pointed your finger on it earlier. Iran is the head of the snake. This attack would not have been possible without funding, planning, assistance, choreography, all those things by the Islamic Republic of Iran. As we appease them, as we lift sanctions on them, as we enrich them, you look at the number of barrels per day that Iran is selling today versus a year ago or 2 years ago. It's a massive, massive increase. So they've gotten a lot richer. They got a lot more money to burn, and they're spending it on their proxies, of which Hamas is the most violent, the most ruthless, and the closest to Israel. So you got to start with that. At the same time, the Wall Street Journal did some good reporting on this. At the same time that America was negotiating with Iran for a prisoner swap in which we unfroze $6 billion of cash. At the very same time, Iran is working with Hamas to plan this annihilation of the Jewish people, an attack on Jews, the likes of which we have not seen since the Holocaust. Women being pulled out of their homes and raped, babies being killed and taken for hostage. Old women, a Holocaust survivor, a woman who was a Holocaust survivor, was taken out of her home, put in a truck, and taken over the border, as a hostage. She never thought she'd have to relive these days. And that's what we're going through today. So Iran is the beginning and the head of the snake. We also restored funding to the Palestinian Authority, which gives incentives and stipends for terrorists to kill Jewish people. We refunded UNRWA, which teaches all those in Gaza to hate. They put on these plays where half the kids dress up as terrorists and half the kids dress up as Jews, and then the terrorists kill the Jews and the parents all get up and applaud. This is what we're putting our money in right now. And I think, maybe the most avoidable and regrettable thing we did was the way we handled our negotiations with Israel and Saudi Arabia. Because at the end of the day, what Iran wants to do is to destroy that potential normalization between Israel and Saudi Arabia. This threatens them greatly. And by creating a war between Palestinians and Israelis, they put that on hold. But why is this happening at all? When we did the Abraham Accords, when people found out about Israel's normalization with the UAE, the day they found out about it was the day President Trump announced it, on television. Until that day, there weren't 10 people in the world that knew it was happening. What's happening here? They're advertising it. They're talking about it as if it's a done deal. They're including the Palestinians at the table, let them know what's going on. So the Palestinians are not getting what they want. They feel aggrieved. They want to show that they're relevant. They want to attack, and Iran is only too happy to give them the resources and the incentives to do that in order to kill any chance of Saudi-Israel normalization. So this was a botched process that didn't have to end this way. It could have been done secretly and discreetly the way we did the Abraham Accords, and those continue to survive and prosper.
Ambassador David Friedman, stay on the Saudi topic for just a moment. What role will the Saudis play? They haven't said much about the invasion so far. They haven't said there's going to be any kind of oil embargo like there was back in 1973 and 1974 when they were basically at war with the U.S. What is your expectation? Will the Saudis be neutral in this battle? Will they side with Iran and Hamas? Or will they, try at least under the table to stay friendly with Israel?
Look, I think the Saudis understand the mentality of Hamas. It's the same, Muslim Brotherhood, radical Islamist factions that threaten Saudi. They threaten UAE. They threaten Bahrain. They threaten Morocco. It's the same enemy, and I don't think they're going to embrace Hamas or boycott the West or raise prices. I think they have a street that is decidedly pro-Palestinian, and they're going to keep that street under control. So they may say things that I think are unfavorable or unhelpful, but at the end of the day, the Saudis want to move, I think, towards modernity. these are not their friends any more than they're the friends of Israel.
All right. Ambassador David Friedman coming from Jerusalem. We thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Please stay safe as best you can.